All right, welcome to the Beam, where curiosity stirs conversation, taking us a step further into the future we desire. I'm Sunas Nathaniel, and today we're going to be tackling a problem that touches every Nigerian, and that problem is water. They say water no get enemy, but we have problems when it comes to water in this nation. Over 70 million Nigerians still lack access to clean water, relying on overpriced vendors and unreliable boreholes. Droughts, floods, and outdated infrastructure have made water scarcity a crisis. How did we get here? And more importantly, how do we fix it? But first, let me say Baraka de Salah to all our Muslim viewers, and may this season bring each and every one of us peace, love, prosperity, and endless blessings. Amen. Now, let's get straight into our discussion today. I have Hamza Yunusa, who is a distinguished water tech innovator, and he joins me here live in our Abuja studios. Mr. Hamza, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back here as soon as.
Yes, it's very important that we had this conversation. I mean, a few days ago was the water, I think, water celebration day, something of that nature.
World Water
Day.
Day.
World Water Day. So we're likely going to have it then, but somehow it didn't work. It's now important that we get started on this conversation. You know, when we talk polity, when we talk Nigeria, there are certain issues that we leave out. But they all make up the whole, and it's very important. If over 70 million Nigerians do not have access to clean and safe water, then it's a problem.
Absolutely.
So let's get to the basics. How bad is this Nigerian case?
So first of all, I would like to point to the fact that Nigeria is a water-rich country. We have 359 billion cubic meters of water. We have an inland water system of about 13 lakes and reservoirs, both of which have a combined surface area of about 4,000 to 550,000 hectares. Yet we still have that problem. And then across the country, we have only 28 water utilities functioning. Only 16 of them are fully functional, you understand? And 70% of all the water facilities across the country are not serviced or maintained by the water utilities. These are self-serviced infrastructure. We have over 2 million water facilities across the country, but 70% of them are self-serviced. 64% of them come from NGOs.
Wow.
Yes.
That says a lot, actually, about how, the kind of issues we are facing currently. So Nigerians depend on their vendors, they depend on, boreholes, but how much does the cost of household, I mean, how sustainable is it for us for each family, to depend on these vendors, each family to look for the way to get water for themselves?
You see, my team recently conducted a research where they were able to determine that the average household, the research was conducted in Minna, Niger State. The average household spends about 688,000 naira annually to purchase water from alternative vendors. 688,000 naira. So imagine this. If that family was given 688,000 naira whole at a time, they could use this money to purchase more food. Don't forget the fact that, we have rising cost of fuel, food, and other amenities. It's basically an economic crisis. And they still have to budget this amount of money annually just to buy water from alternative sources. So it's pointing to the fact that there's a huge crisis. Imagine if there was water, constantly from utilities, it would have been easier because water from utilities is incredibly cheaper. Currently you get about a cubic meter of water, which is 1,000 liters, from vendors for 4,000 naira. From utilities, the highest you get is 250 naira per cubic meter. So it's a huge difference.
Is that our biggest challenge right now?
I believe so. As far as I'm concerned, water is the biggest challenge in Nigeria currently. Most of the states are not able to service more than 30% of their customers. Some of the bigger states don't even service up to 10% of their customers. So it's a huge problem. It means the larger part of the population have to depend on these vendors, and it's too expensive. It's not sustainable.
So in saying this, we always come back to the government, and the question becomes, what really can the government do, to fix this situation that we see? And because if you look at some of the stats, they say we're going back to when there have been way more than 100 million who cannot now get access to water. And then it becomes a big issue, because when people are fighting for food, fighting for water, it's just going to put the system in geek chaos.
Absolutely. I mean, it will be utter chaos. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of these governors. I've spoken to a lot of them, and one thing they always complain about is that they don't have money. Funding is an issue. But the issue is, we see these subnationals awarding contracts every day for roads, for bridges, for all of these things. And then I say to myself, okay, why don't we come up with an idea? I advocate setting up something called the Water Infrastructure Development Fund. Have an institution in your state called the Water Infrastructure Development Fund that will take 1.5% of each contract sum that you are giving out. You understand? Let it go to the fund. And then that fund would be responsible for continuously making assessments of the water infrastructure of the state. You know, where do we need to expand distribution? Where do we need to replace machinery? Where do we need to do capacity building? They have money in store and they can execute on all of these things. I believe that if we set up something like this, the issue we're having with regards to water infrastructure would become history.
Well, sometimes the problem is that we do not have people who have the willpower in power to, you know, to act on these things. And but that's a discussion that will come maybe later or some other time.
Indeed.
The question then becomes, I was looking at why we really wanted to reach out to you was that I saw one of those projects, you know, that has to do with fixing the nation when it comes to water. There's one of the new projects you're working on. I'm wondering if you can shed some light on that.
So, like I said, we're basically, I mean, the economy is very strenuous right now. A lot of people are struggling. And so we felt, like I mentioned earlier, the average family has to spend 688,000 naira annually. Imagine if he didn't have to do that. They could channel the money to maybe take their kid to a better school or get a bigger apartment, you know, or do other things. But unfortunately, they can't because they have to get water from alternative sources. And most of the time, this water are not, the water is not even safe. So I sat down with my team and we decided to say, okay, how do we help alleviate, the government itself? How do we even help the government alleviate the suffering for the people? And we came up with the idea for something we call nFree water, which is EFW. And what nFree water does basically is, for the average household owner, logs into our application called Pay Water, and they will see the nFree water button there. They click on it, and it shows them adverts, as simple as that. You watch a few adverts. Any advert you watch gives you water credits. And if you watch as much as 5 adverts, you accumulate 100 water credits, and you can redeem actual water with those water credits. And what are we doing here? We just basically, we're bringing 2 stakeholders that have the need for each other. We have people who want to advertise, who want to reach new customers, and we have users who actually want to get access to free water without having to pay for it. So we put them together in an innovative business model whereby one will benefit. It's a win-win situation, you understand? I watch your advert, I gain water credits. So essentially, we're using ad revenues to fund water deliveries for people. And I believe that this is a highly scalable initiative. And it's groundbreaking, by the way. It's never been done anywhere in the water sector across the world. So it's the first of its kind. I believe that if we deploy this project across the country, we're going to go a long way in solving the water crisis.
But one will be forced to ask you, in a situation where people are fighting to have enough data, where people are trying to say, hey, these guys are not giving us enough, how much data needs to be spent for one to get such ad credits that results to better water? Is it commensurate? Is it something that works?
Absolutely. Come to think of it, the average, the young Nigerian or every other person spends basically 10, 11 hours on his phone every day. All you need to do to accumulate 1 water credit is 35 seconds of ads.
Okay.
Just 35 seconds. So you get 20 credits, you watch 5 adverts, you get 100 credits. And, this is not like, the conventional social impact projects that are dependent on government budgets or utility revenue or donor funding. No, we just created a self-sustaining model that, just brings two individuals together that need each other. And we bring them in a collaborative model to be able to help each other, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. You're talking about something that is unique and innovative. And like you said, one of those questions also becomes sustainability in the long run. But before that, there's something that we talked about somewhere around metering and AI-powered leakage detection is something that is very important also. How does this tie into the same project?
Yeah, I mean, we are a company, of course, that promotes, smart water metering. I think Hydrodynamics is the company that popularized modern-day smart water metering in Nigeria. And we also brought AI-powered leakage detection systems in the country. And these are solutions that actually help water utilities to become financially viable. Because currently you have a lot of losses. I mean, the physical losses in the pipelines, and you have commercial losses, something my team calls spiritual losses. These are losses that you do not see physically.
You can't tell where it's going.
Exactly. You have some people putting money in their pockets, they don't remit to the utility, all of these third parties. And so we came up with these solutions, an app for you to prepay for your water, or you can say we're basically just like buy power for water. Right? You prepay for your water and you get your water credit, and then you use the water. As soon as your water is exhausted, the valve in the meter would close until you buy again. But before it closes, it sends you alerts to say, look, you're getting low on your water credit, you need to top up, etc. So, and the leakage detection system, essentially, we train our meters, with machine learning algorithms. So they are basically like an AI. So if there is a leakage in the pipeline, it actually reports it in real time. And we also have a collaborative feature called report leakage. If you see any leakage, you just go to the Pay Water app, and you see a place called report leakage, and you give us the information, including your phone number. I've seen a leakage at so place, and we can call you immediately to follow up, to get further clarification. So if you put this suite of solutions together, it actually helps to combat corruption in the system. It improves accountability because we have a dashboard that shows you the consumption of each customer, how much he has paid for water and etc. So this is the way of making utilities financially viable and ensure that the utilities have enough money to fix their infrastructure and expand to underserved areas.
All right, we're going to be taking a short break, and when we return, we'll be going deeper into the nFree water. We want to know really how this works and how it can really serve the Nigerian people. Don't go away. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is The Beam, and we're discussing the future of water in Nigeria with a major focus on the infrastructures that will enable many more Nigerians enjoy access to clean and safer water. Mr. Yunusa, who is a guest on this show, is a water tech innovator. And from, that base, we're going to ask him the next question. Let's go back again, to the nFree water program that you guys are already working on. My next question will be, where do you guys get the water? How do you guys link the water to the people? Those are the kind of things people will be wondering, If we watch the adverts, how do you know I have finished watching the adverts? How do you get the water to me, basically?
Yeah, so in each area, most underserved areas have a water collection point where these vendors go to collect water and distribute and sell within that area. So we're tapping into the existing infrastructural framework for distribution in that area. So basically, if a request comes in, we have a mega dashboard that monitors all the requests and everything that's going on. So if a request comes in, we have the vendors that we have onboarded on our platform for each area. So if you request for water from a certain address, you've already signed up, we have your address, we just tell the vendor, deliver water to so household. And then we have an analyst on the monitoring the dashboard, and we have agents in the different collection
points. You guys monitor the water also?
Yes, we do.
Quality of water?
Yeah, absolutely. But the water we're going to be delivering to individuals is not water for drinking.
Okay.
It's water you use for cooking, for bathing, and other hygiene needs, which is actually the bulk of the water that you need at home every day. So it's not water for drinking, because people are already used to drinking either pure water or bottled water. So they feel more comfortable drinking water from these products. So the water is not for drinking. And of course, we're tapping into, like I said, the existing distribution framework within the area.
No, but it's important you clarify that also, because the bulk of the water really is the one we use for daily utilities, and that's the truth, and that's the one that's also very, very important.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go again, and then this model, it's a unique model.
Yeah.
How do you see it play out in the long run? How do you see the government coming into play? How do you see maybe the governmental organizations? How do you see those partnerships? How do you see them playing out when it comes to a model like this?
I will start with the governments. They are my friends. So essentially, I think governments, this is an initiative that, help governors or governments, solve to a large extent the water issues in their states, because you are providing your citizens the opportunity to be able to access water for free without the burden of actually allocating funds for that water. So what governments can do is, first of all, give us the institutional support that we need, because we're scaling across the country. Immediately, we execute our pilot project in Mina, in Niger State, in about 2 or 3 weeks. So what they should do is, say, nFree water. What we should do is, I'm going to partner with you to support the small businesses that are going to advertise on your platform. For example, the government could say, okay, we are announcing a 2 million grant for 20 businesses that are advertising on the nFree water platform. What is the implication of this? It means more and more businesses would advertise, and they will fund water deliveries to individual households. What their utilities were not able to do, essentially, and by the way, this is not a replacement for water utilities. It is just a way to help alleviate the current suffering, because there are a lot of areas that are underserved. If you are able to supply water to a certain percentage of the population, and we're able to deliver water for free for a larger chunk of the population that don't have access to pipe-borne water from the utility, it goes a long way. And in the future, we see ourselves as the YouTube of social impact. Yes, YouTube generates billions and billions of dollars in revenue every year, but we don't see them channeling those revenues into social impact projects. And that is where we are different. Ad revenues are channeled, into providing water for people. And in the future, our scale-up plan, in fact, in a couple of months, your water utility bill will be paid through the nFree water platform. We're going to be partnering with all the water boards across the country, and we give them a dashboard where they will be able to see, okay, this person has paid for his water because he has watched a number of ads. This makes it easy for the governments, for even the utilities. They don't have to pursue people and say, come and pay your bill, all of those struggles. And then again, like I said, YouTube of social impact as a business, because we're trying to encourage small businesses to advertise on that. We're giving a major focus on small businesses. Why? Small businesses are crying, they are dying to be heard. They want to reach a specific group of customers. So on the platform, you tell us exactly the kind of customer that you want to reach, and our algorithm will match you with that customer. He watches ads, and water gets delivered to his household. So this is basically it. We're going to support these small businesses with access to grants. The company will also provide grants to a select number, periodically, to a select number of small businesses that advertise on the platform. And we'll partner with corporate sponsors and NGOs and all of these other people to also support these small businesses. We are going to give them access to other resources like bootcamp information, webinars that help them
That's
gain
the general
knowledge.
masses who are coming to the platform?
The advertisers.
Okay,
I'm talking about the advertisers here.
Okay.
We also have corporate advertisers, the big companies like Zenith Bank, BOA. I was at the BOA office in Lagos a couple of weeks ago, and we were discussing this. I said, look, if BOA sponsors water deliveries to households, because if a customer redeems water on the platform, it says, congratulations, you've unlocked 200 liters of water from hydrodynamics powered by BUA, for example. And then if this keeps happening, powered by BUA, free water coming to my house, I ask, BUA, the next spaghetti that this person is going to buy, guess which company is it?
About them.
You know, absolutely. So it's a win-win kind of thing, essentially. So we encourage both users who want to get free water and advertisers who want to reach customers, specific customers, you know, to sign up. You go to EFW, that's nfreewater.paywater.ng, and you can register as an advertiser.
All right, I think that's a very important thing that is ongoing, and it's something innovative. It's something that is for Nigeria.
Yeah.
I think to wrap it up, basically, what will be the way in which we need to go as a people collectively when it comes to the issues of water? You know, we're always very bonded together when it comes to other political things, other things that has to do with the killing, the fighting. But when it comes to certain issues, you feel like people who maybe have much more do not even know that there are people who are suffering and do not have enough water. So what would we do as a collective? What should be our consciousness right now?
I think, first of all, I remember as a kid, there was this nursery rhyme that goes, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. We need to scrap that. We need to, you know, make our young people, especially the kids, understand the value of water in our lives. It is basically the most important resource in human existence. You strike me as a religious person. I guess you read the Bible a lot. So yeah, I was reading a verse in the Quran, and the verse was asking, saying, imagine what happens if all drinkable water got lost. What
becomes of us?
What becomes of us? And it struck me really hard. I've been reading it for a while, but that day, I felt the profundity of that verse. And it made me realize the chaos that will ensue if we allow this current trajectory to continue. Some people have to stand up. Some people have to provide access to funding to fix water infrastructure, which is what I do largely. It's one of the things I do. Some people have to come, you know, to channels, TV, and other platforms to discuss these issues. And some people have to push for policy that, you know, that encourages water conservation and encourages and brings about punishments and whatever it is for people who misuse or, you know, manhandle water infrastructure and all of these things. So it's a collective thing.
All right.
Everybody has to come from his own angle.
All right. Thank you very much, Hamza Yunus. Thank you for coming back on the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here again.
All right. Thank you. Yes, that's the much we can take on the program today. And Nigeria's water crisis is solvable with the right policy, technology, and commitment. And to everyone tuning in, remember, water is power, and whoever controls it shapes the future. That's all for today. But before we go, our top 5 videos of the week. I'm Sunes Nathaniel. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep beaming the light where it matters most. May Nigeria continue to rise and flourish. Bye for now.
We begin this week's countdown with a clip in which a lawyer representing Senator Natasha Akpoti accuses the Kogi state government of sponsoring the lawmaker's recall. In 4th place, we see Professor Odenta asserts that Tinubu is distorting democracy in Nigeria and weaponizing the judiciary against the people.
If you take democracy as a package and then you have bought a significant chunk of it and reconstitute it, that regime has become a hybrid regime. And hybrid regime is a term that is part of the structure of competitive authoritarianism.
Coming third on our list is an interview in which Senator Adams Oshomole reveals the reason why the Senate rejected a move to immortalize late Professor Humphrey Nwosu.
Now, let me just ask you, Shehu, what will Nwosu be remembered for? That he conducted a free and fair election, but he did not announce the winner, even though he knew the winner.
In second place, Senator Nwebonyi reveals what led to the shouting match he recently had with Dr. Obiezekwesili over the Natasha case. Our most viewed video this week shows Senator Nwebonyi in a face-off with Dr. Obiezekwesili at a hearing over the allegations made by Senator Natasha Akpoti.
I take exception to a senator. Why are you talking to me like that? You are a disgrace to the Senate. You are an insult to womanhood.
That's it on our countdown today. Join us next week for more.